good whenever you're watching this. I see at least one person is watching live. Kudos to you, because we're in one of those places where the time has been shifted due to daylight savings. And in effect, we lose an hour this weekend. And that leads us to our theme of today's Bhagavad Gita Sadhana. Because of losing that hour, because of adjusting the time clock forward, if you look at the almanac below, the sunrise is now pretty much again at the same time it was when it was the winter solstice. How delightful. And the weather. Oh, just yesterday I went for a walk and there were so many daffodils. And a couple days ago, it was in the 60s and 30 some degrees above normal. And now it seems we've gone back in time for a season. Fortunately, we who live in Cleveland, probably many of you in many areas go, yeah, that first false sense of spring, it's not going to last. And we're prepared. And we don't beat ourselves up about it, nor do we beat nature. We might complain about it, but it's like, that's what happens. As you progress on the spiritual path, this is going to be what happens. And this is a wonderful time to mention it because, Arjun is committing himself to spiritual growth with his spiritual advisor, Krishna. And Arjun, like many of us, think that growth is going to be like this. I'm here and I'm steadily going to progress here and then here and then just keep going. And that can be fed by, beliefs of those around us, our own inherited beliefs that we should always be moving up because that's how we know we're progressing. But there's a wonderful book, a very small book written many, many years ago by George Leonard, who did Aikido. And he talked about the path to mastery is not this. So what happens is people will start something and at the beginning they'll be like, ooh, I see progress. And then there's a plateau. And this is when a lot of people drop off. They're like, I'm not making any progress. And then there's actually a regression. And that's when even more people drop off saying, this is doing me no good at all. I'm going backward. But what George Leonard postulated is that after this dip, then a burst of growth happens. And then we plateau, go down a little. And he says that in any kind of lasting pursuit, we need to love it because we have to learn to love the plateaus. If we love something enough, like our growth, then we'll keep going and we will notice all of a sudden, I'm going backward and doing. Okay. That is the technical term, totoing. And I'm mentioning this today because as we go through the sadhana, today, I got to say this morning, I was feeling less than equanimitous and thinking if only I could stay in bed with the covers over my head, but I did it. And I'm sure as the days go by and my clock resets, I'll be, yeah, that's cool. I'm making progress again. Oh, consider this in your life. Whatever you're trying, give yourself a break. It's so easy to go, oh, there's a little challenge and I'm not doing this anymore. Often where you feel that little challenge is right before your biggest growth. So keep that in mind. Today, I'm dedicating this practice to Akira Toriyama-sama, who, man, he impacted the lives of so many people, but he can be looked at as someone who dragged children back into the depths of childhood. If you're not familiar, Akira Toriyama is the inventor, the creator of Dragon Ball Z, which when it hit the States in 1996, it's an anime, by the way, based on a very popular Japanese manga. When it hit the States in 1996, I was working as a research librarian. And that's kind of when the internet was just starting to be a thing. And the kids that found out about Dragon Ball Z loved it. And they got online and they looked for all kinds of pictures of the characters and they would print them out endlessly. And that also led to policies in libraries about you can only print out so many things a day. But I started watching it too and reading it, and then I got hooked as well. And Toriyama, I think in at first I read that he was criticizing. I got to tell you, an adult reading comic books, is a serious thing. So I'm like, okay, are you regressing? The idea of him turning this art form that was meant for children into something that people of all ages could enjoy was really something else. It's remarkable and extraordinary how he did that. And again, you might think, well, getting kids to read comics, is that really helpful? A lot of times when we perceive we're regressing, there are actually unexpected benefits. So, yes, these kids were very focused on this martial arts based cartoon, we could call it. But I told you when it came out, the internet was just becoming a thing. Because of Dragon Ball Z, one of the unaffected or unexpected effects was kids were motivated to learn how to use the internet. And that contributes to why that generation, at least some of them, are so tech savvy, because there was this positive motivation. So you might feel like you're going back, but maybe you're just revisiting, consolidating, or getting a new take on something that is going to serve you very well in the future. So, to Akira Toriyama, Son Goku, Goten, Gohan, all of you, this is a practice for you. The little kid in me is overjoyed to think of you. Let's practice. The little kid in me is cringing at going back out in the snow, but I know I'll make it. I can do it. And I have to shut the door because it's just too cold today. So I'll knock when I switch sides in the balance pose. See you soon. Okay, meditate. And I found myself doing Kali mudra. Kali is the personification of time. I believe we've done it before in the sadhana, but if you want to do it, hands start like they're in prayer, fingers interlace, index finger sticks out, and you can just do it like this, or you can have it pointing at your throat chakra, which is said to be responsible for your metabolism and how much time you have on earth. However, you're meditating. Oh, and I invite you to think of some area in your life where you feel you're regressing or going backward, and note if you can pick out the positive, the benefit, or the consolidation that might be happening, and encourage you to go on. I encourage you to see me in 5. welcome back. Kudos to you for sticking with this. Just as a thought, a couple other lessons imparted by the Dragon Ball series are to kids. So the kids got this is if you work hard at what you really want to do with a positive attitude, you will exceed expectations. And another thing is those you perceive now as enemies, you can actually make your friends. We can think this about life in general, about ourselves. Keep going, even when it looks like you're going backward. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Until then, I'm going to go get me some Dragon Ball.